Hi, this is Kathi Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing. I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Well, this week I want to talk about embossing. We have addressed embossing before. However, I've had lots of questions about it. So I want to go through with you the process to create an embossed towel, an embossed blanket on Minky. Anything that has a nice pile, you can emboss on. And the idea is you're going to stitch down the pile of the towel or the minking, the fluff. You want to push the fluff down around your design. So instead of embroidering an embroidered J on a towel, you would embroider the towel around the shape of the J so the fluff would come through. But a lot of times we want to add borders, have a little fun with it. So let's get started on this. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to come down over on the bottom left-hand corner and I'm going to select a thread chart, and I want to select the Floriani color spectrum. Now I love this. Now we have 360 colors, plus we've got our wonderful variegateds, our twists, our metallics, our cottons. We have all kinds of thread. But what is cool about picking this spectrum is we have a box of thread, and it's called set 1, and it's 120 spools of thread. And what it has done is we have created the color wheel, which is a total spectrum. What is nice about that is if I'm looking at some reds on one arm of the spectrum and I go right across from it, and I might be in purples or yellows, whatever's right across from that, the values are going to be the same. So if I pick the first, second, and third red, I could change my color wheel and have the right values and have how it goes in a nice row. For me, that's important. I'm not real good with switching out colors and everything, but if I can see the color spectrum, I always know my values are going to be nice and my design will be attractive no matter what colors I pick. So I really like having this spectrum. So I wanted to point that out to you, and we're going to work with that today. Now, the first thing I need to do is I want to work with artwork. Now, I want to show you something I've done over here, and we've discussed this before as well. Notice I can close my properties box, and I can close my sequence view. I have an X up there. So I could come to toolbars. I could reopen my sequence view. Right here is the symbol for my properties. So you could see I could put these right back. But now in Floriani, because a lot of our customers did not like the fact that these could accidentally get closed or pinned or unpinned, made them a little crazy. So if we go to Tools and we go to Preferences, under View, you can select Lock Property, Sequence View, and Library Windows, and there is no X up here to close them. So if it bothers you being able to close these or accidentally closing them, make sure that this is checked. Now, when you load your program, that is the default. So unless you have taken the default off, you can't find an X on them to close them. I like mine there, especially for teaching, because sometimes I want you to see all of the sequence view instead of just a small section down here. So you will notice I have those available on mine. Now let's get to embossing. I'm going to come into my artwork custom shapes. Now remember, this is always artwork, and it's perfect, clean, pretty artwork. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to select this star. Now with this star selected, I'm going to come to my transform in my properties box, left mouse click, and I'm going to make this 6 inches across. Now I have left my maintain aspect ratio selected so that we do have proportionate resizing. So if you're using shapes and stuff, make sure that's selected so it's all proportionate. Now I will apply that. Now I'm going to come back because we're going to need to combine artwork to cut out sections for our towel to fluff up through. So I will come right back here. I will come down and I'm going to select that same star. Now I could select a different shape to go in there, but I'm going to stick with stars right now, and I'm going to also change that color so I can see it. So with this star, I'm going to come right here to the word transform. And now I'm going to make this one about a 4.5. I want a nice little border around that edge. Apply. Now, just so you can tell, I'm going to come over to my ruler on my left-hand toolbar. And I'm going to measure. I just want you to notice. See, I wanted to have a little bit of a border here. So by measuring this, I'm good. I've got a good border. But you could go ahead and look and see if you had enough of a border for you. I like the way this looks. Let me fit it to screen so you can see it well. So I like the way the border edge is there. Of course, you can measure, you can make yours different. All personal preference. Now that I've got that artwork star, I'm going to come back and get another one. Because I need to be able to chop some stuff out here to get my embossing effect. Now I'm going to bring in a third star. I'm going to transform this, and I'm going to bring this one down to 3 inches. So now I've got 3 stars, and they're all stacked. Now I'm going to come to my artwork letterings, my TrueType fonts. Now here's something we could do. I'm going to go to my TrueType fonts and pick a TrueType font that's artwork. But should I want to use my text tool, let's just pretend here or go here and do this, Okay, so now we can see this says my text. What I want in here is a J. What I could do here is I can come in here and I can go TrueType, and now I can also use all the fonts that I have in here as well. So I could come through here and start looking at fonts and come this way. Or I could go to TrueType fonts. Now, I don't have as many fonts if I go through here on my computer. Everybody's computer is different because it depends what programs you actually have installed. So I'm going to look through here until I find a font that I really like. Or I could go ahead and pick a regular font and turn it into artwork. So you have lots of options here. So let's just look at those options because I think that's important to learn. Okay, I'm going to go right here, Arial Black. Now I just want a J, and I want it about 1.5 tall, 1.5. So I'm going to apply that, and there is that J. Okay, so now, whoops, let's grab it and make it a color so we can see it. Now this, when I went in, I had picked TrueType fonts. Okay, now I can come down with this selected. I'm going to use my select key. Let's select this. As you can see, that is a satin stitch. So we don't want a satin stitch. We're going to select it. Now with it selected, I can go ahead and turn that. I'm going to break it up. And now that it doesn't think it's text anymore, notice I can come right back down here to my bottom right-hand corner and turn that into a piece of artwork. So I have taken that and turned it into artwork. So you could go into any of your alphabets, any of your fonts in here, and you could have, remember, select them, right mouse click, break up the text so it doesn't know it's text anymore, and then you have the ability to turn it to artwork. Or, let me delete this. Let's just select this one. Let's delete it. I could have come to TrueType fonts, put a J in here, gone to select, and found something in here I liked. But you notice I don't have near the selection in here because I don't have a whole lot of fonts in my computer. So I don't have a lot of fonts in here. But by going through my text, my regular fonts, my text, my embroidery, I had a lot more. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, say OK, OK. And again, I've still got the ability, I'm going to put this at 1 point, oops, I'm sorry, I want the height 1.75. 1.75. I could have put a J in here. It's a little big, so I would do a little bit different here, but you get the idea of what we're doing. So you have those options. I'm going to undo, 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 because I liked this J much better. So I'm going to go ahead and undo, get back to where I was, and I'm going to set this where it looks attractive within this space. If you center it, it's going to center with the center of the J, and it's not going to look real good in here. So you want to put it where it looks good by your eyes, not by lining it up mathematically. So once I get this in here, now we're going to start our little chopping out. We're going to start our combining. So now I'm going to select the inside star, the middle star. I'm going to hold my control key and left mouse click on my outside star. Now I'm going to combine. Whoops. See how it just chopped it out? Now I'm going to do the same thing with my J. Hold my control key, select my inner star, combine, and there we go. So now what's going to happen is towel is going to come up through here. My pile, my fluff, is going to come up through the negative space. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this all into stitches. So I'm going to select the star, holding my control key, select the inner star as well. So I could select them over here in my sequence view. Now once I've selected those, I'm going to come down here to my one-click wonders along the bottom, and I'm going to select my motif. Now that's going to fill it. Now you want a motif that is going to fill it, but you don't want it so super dense that your towel is going to be a weapon. So just think about that, how many stitches you've got. Now I'm going to come in here and I could look and say, well, I might need a little bit more, stitch down. So I could look through, see if I found something I liked better. And I've got that stitched down. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this outside star. I'm going to right mouse click copy, right mouse click paste. And now I've got two fills, the one on top of the other. But I want that second one. I'm going to come down to my one-click wonders and I'm going to left mouse click on my steel stitch. Now I'm not going to show this because it's not going to exceed. And now I'm going to make that about 2 millimeters wide, apply. Now I'm going to select my inside star. I'm going to do the same thing. Copy, paste, make a steel stitch, and change its width to about a 2. And now what's going to happen is it's going to stitch out my fills, then it's going to stitch out my steels, and my towel's going to puff up in here. How cool is this? This is how to create embossing in your Floriani Total Control. So I hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. I hope you learned something new. I hope you had some fun combining some artwork, looking at different ways to create fonts, to turn a font into a piece of artwork if you needed to. So I look forward to seeing you next week. And remember to look forward to our more in-depth videos of our Progressive Software Club looking to come soon. So I'm all excited about that. Can't wait to spend time with you on that club. And I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next week.